Welcome, Pride Consciousness. People living at Pride Consciousness have at least 2 hyperactive chakra, meaning that they are taking energy from others. Depending on the chakra, it can be in a different type of energy. Or they have 3 to 4 chakra block underactive. Can be also a combination of that. One thing for sure is they're not really aligned. They are very contracted. The energy field is at 3 feet, maximum 2 to 3 feet in front. So they're more physical body than energy. They are more ego than soul. They are highly stuck in the hamster wheel of me, that can come through trying to seek attention, fame, recognition, or can come from the victimhood, my problems, and so on. People at Pride Consciousness are very harsh to deal with or to be around, as they are heavy, as they are in fear, they are negative, as they are somehow contracted. If you are living at 250 and above, connected with your heart center and your soul, you're gonna feel the heaviness of those humans, and somehow you're gonna have to learn how to protect yourself. One quick technique that I learned from my bioenergetic doctor is to close your second finger inside of your thumb like that. It's a mudra that creates a shield from negative vibration entering, of negative thoughts of the people at Pride Consciousness. Also being centered in the heart, expanded with love, sending love to them is a way to create a shield. One thing for sure is we need to set physical boundaries, verbalize boundaries, because they are having tendency to dominate, to take more, to always want an extra little service. When you're serving people at Pride Consciousness, you need to be very strong, very confident, very aware of your abilities. Otherwise, they're going to take over those clients. When I started doing reading, at the beginning, people were paying me after. So I was attracting sometimes people at Pride that were testing my services. And when I was sending them the report, they were always arguing, oh, you're wrong, oh, this doesn't make sense. Because somehow it is too much for them to receive. It is confronting their ego. If they fully accept the report, they would have some kind of ego death, loss of identity. Because they think that they know, they think that they are somehow in the next level. Funny enough, when I started charging before offering the service, I received less people at Pride Consciousness. And higher I was charging, less people at Pride Consciousness I was receiving. It's very rare to have someone at Pride Consciousness being willing to receive those type of criticism, feedback, outside view observation. And it's super rare to have someone at Pride Consciousness that is willing to accept and being aware that it live at Pride Consciousness. When I see those people that are living at Pride and they are accepting it and they're like, yes, it's true, I need to work on myself, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to expand my heart, this is a real gift. Because that's what humanity needs, as the collective consciousness right now is at 195, the end of Pride Consciousness. And people at Pride, they're not all bad, so it is very hard to gauge. For me, each time I was reading someone at Pride, I was having some kind of anxiety to send them the report, to send them a voice, to tell them, because I received so much backlash in the past from people at Pride Consciousness. But each time that someone was receiving it nicely, understanding it, accepting it, I was surprised and having hope for humanity. At Pride Consciousness, the emotional state is scorn, meaning that somehow inside, subconsciously, they feel unworthy, worthless. So they have the tendency to project this on others. Subconsciously, they are pushing their pride on others. That is making feel others smaller. So if someone with a higher percentage of pride, we can calculate that. What is my percentage of pride? Let's say someone at 50, stuck in Pride Consciousness, it is communicating with someone at 20 and it kind of pointing or judging. While someone with lower percentage of pride might feel insecure, might feel less than the other, especially if the lower percentage of pride is living at Courage Consciousness. Because at Courage Consciousness, we're still not sure of who we are. We're still building that sense of deep self-esteem, of overcoming our deepest shadow until we open the heart center. And once we start opening the heart center, then we can be present in that heart without being affected by those negative Pride Consciousness. The life view is demanding, meaning that they demand so much of themselves. They are somehow perfectionists for the ones that are trying to achieve more. the one that are trying to become somebody. So they demand a lot from their environment. They demand from their relationship. They demand from the people around them. If we have a pride consciousness human as a manager, it can be very, very overwhelming because they're going to be pushing their team with this energy of being very, very demanding, with not much compassion. They are very demanding and also indifferent by others' feeling, emotion. They have one thing in mind, is to achieve the goal as fast as possible. So if the manager, for example, has some type of milestone to achieve for the month, everything that is going to come and disturb his roadmap, this manager is going to be indifferent into it. For example, if one team member is getting sick, well, it's going to maybe blame the team member. If one team member is parents died or whatever, it's going to be indifferent by the death. The only thing that it's going to think about is how can I fix my current situation to achieve my timeline. It's all about my dream, my bubble, and everything outside of it is a threat to my achievement. That's when we live in that kind of like high performance pride consciousness. But when we live in the victimhood pride consciousness, we kind of like close, isolate, and we're creating that shield from separation of others, and everything is bothering us. We are having some hate, we are having some envy, we are denying others to enter our energy field. It's a way that they are protecting themselves from deeper wounds. The wounds at pride consciousness are harsher trap emotion like betrayal combined with unworthy. It can be terror, shock, it can be heartache. When we combine emotion from both parents, heartache from both parents, so it's harsher to process. It can be deep anxiety, fear, dread of the future. But one thing for sure is the energy field being contracted is a way to protect, create a shield, physical shield. The physical heart is very hard. It is almost like an armor that no one can penetrate. People at pride consciousness are very stiff. They're very rigid. We can also see some patterns of people going to the gym and building up like a strong chest, a strong armor of muscles to protect that physical armor, to protect the heart wall from anyone to penetrate, to go within, to see their true wounded self. The wounded inner child that didn't get his emotional needs met, that got emotionally abandoned, neglected. And that inner child inside is hiding, maybe sitting on the floor, on the corner of the room, in little ball, protecting itself, crying, being afraid, frightened, not being listened to, not being seen by the human adult. So, in other words, people living at pride consciousness are only seeing one aspect of themselves. They're only seeing the ego. They don't think it's the ego. They only see the human aspect, how they look like. They only see the brain aspect, what their knowledge, but they don't see the different archetypes, the different energies. So our inner mother, our inner father, our inner feminine, our inner masculine, our soul, our body, our ego, our inner child, our inner teenager, our inner grandparent, our inner king, our inner magician, our inner lover, our inner warrior. And there's multiple archetypes to start integrating, to start building dual conversation inside of us, to start listening to. So in a way, they are avoiding part of themselves. They are avoiding those parts because they are too harsh to assess. They are too harsh to listen to because it's going to bring them back into moments, memories, or energies of low vibration that they are not able to deal with. So they are protecting themselves on a daily basis because they don't have the tools to overcome those negative deep vibrations sitting inside of their physical body and their energy field. They are lacking understanding of the communion with the higher self, with the soul, with the universe as a whole, that we are all one, all the same, connected in the heart center. At pride consciousness, the God view is indifferent. As I said before, pride consciousness meaning that they are indifferent by the patterns or the life situation of others. The only thing that matters is their own life situation, how to fix it, how to improve it. Therefore, they are indifferent about God, if God exists or not. They are indifferent of like really going within and feeling God and being one with God, building this inner dual conversation with God. At pride consciousness, the process of the individual is inflation, meaning that if it's the victimhood pride, well, it's going to think all day long about its own problems. Inflating its sense of reality, its sense of existence, towards always talking about those problems, inflating those problems, making them bigger than they look. And then, if it's the pride that is going towards getting more attention and fame recognition, well, it's all about like how I'm going to be able to win, or get this trophy, or get this next amount of money, or get this next project that's going to give me this recognition. So the whole day long, it's thoughts about me, stuck in service to self. I'm serving myself and I'm not thinking about anyone else outside of my energy field. I'm in my own universe, and outside of it, there's nothing else. It is a way to ascend towards more understanding of God. As people that are taking the path service to self, they can polarize towards more and more negativity until they reach 95% service to self to ascend towards the fourth density negative. But in our time right now of humanity, it is impossible, but nothing is really impossible as there's infinite timeline, but very hard to ascend to the service to self fourth density. But as I said before, there's humans that did it before, and it's humans that somehow were finding ways to deeply control humanity in their own way. So when we are at pride consciousness, there is some slight little patterns of these kind of like dark humans inside of us as we embody a partial version of the service to self. The way to get out of pride consciousness is to release those harsh emotions and find a way to break the painful physical heart wall. And as we do so, slowly, after that, we can bring more and more safety and security in our root and build the foundation of the three initial survival chakras that give support into the heart. It's the only way. And this starts with awareness of our current situation. Accepting that yes, maybe we live at pride consciousness, and analyzing those patterns in our day-to-day life. Everything starts with awareness and acceptance.